I can't think of a worse take on this entire topic of debate. Imagine going to an Italian restaurant and being upset that they don't serve Indian food. That would be silly. Sup, dog? Earlier this year, there was a firestorm heating up in the book world. And it all started from this one post. It was a post asking authors to use easier words when they write. It reads as a bit of a passing joke to me, but people took it very seriously. It ended up igniting a very serious debate about the concept of language and how it relates to people with disabilities. It got so heated, in fact, that people ended up deleting their accounts and exiting the internet entirely. While there are a lot of perspectives on this discourse, I feel like there's something missing from the conversation. Something that goes a lot deeper than just big words on a page. Let's talk about it. I don't go on Twitter. Thank you. But I do go on Threads. I know, I'm not proud of myself either. Now, Threads is more than just Instagram words for people who don't use Twitter and still don't know how to pronounce blue sky. But the biggest thing Threads shows me is brand new ways of being upset at internet strangers. And that's how I feel about this whole discourse surrounding the big words debate. But it wasn't this post about authors using easier words that made me upset. I actually thought it was kind of funny. It was this follow-up post. There is absolutely nothing wrong with readers asking for easier words. If that upsets you so much, check your ableism. I can't think of a worse take on this entire topic of debate. And I wasn't the only one who felt that way. This take was so bad that the level of anger and response that it generated made the easier words original poster delete their account entirely. People initially tried to write this off as rage bait, but it became clear that the poster definitely meant every word of it. Now, for legal reasons, I'm not going to identify this person, and I'm not going to encourage anybody to go looking for them either. But the thing that blew my mind about this post is that it was written by somebody who is a writer for some of the biggest publishers and comic books in the world. I have so many problems with this take that it's hard to know where to start, but they boil down to two issues, one ethical and one artistic. Let's start with the artistic. Is it wrong for readers to ask for easier words? I guess inherently no. It's not wrong for anybody to ask anything. You can ask an author to include tricycle riding dinosaurs in all of their work if you want to, but that doesn't mean they need to listen. I'm so confused by this idea that writers are supposed to cater their writing to the needs and the wants of the reader. That's not how any artistic industry works. If a book doesn't suit your tastes, don't read it. Imagine going to an Italian restaurant and being upset that they don't serve Indian food. That would be silly. This is a trend that I've noticed in the last couple of years, where people tend to think that the art that they consume should be tailor-made to their needs and their wants. It's a very shallow and self-centered point of view that hones in on this sense of immediate gratification and custom fabricated experience. And this has been exacerbated by the rise of large language models and chatbots. There are some readers out there who have become so frustrated with not finding a book or a story that suits their taste that they seek out these applications to write custom-made stories for themselves. And they mostly use prompts, details, and scenarios that are used in bookish spaces. Unsurprisingly, they're mostly being used to generate smut. But the use of AI to string together a series of words in the hopes of self-fulfillment is nothing new at this point. The core of this problem is the need to be pandered to. Wanting art to be made to your custom specification goes against the entire experiential point of art. When we read a book, we have access to the thoughts and feelings of the person who wrote it, regardless of time. That is such a valuable thing to have as a society. And the minute we start telling writers what they can or can't write, we lose out on the collective experience of writers from the past. There seems to be this prevailing desire from some people for immediate gratification and for things to be pandered to their own tastes. And this kind of desire to soften the world around us is killing people's ability to be challenged. And this is the main argument that I've seen. We shouldn't be telling writers how to write. And I agree with that. Writers everywhere who are joining this conversation cemented their ideas about not wanting to give in to reader desire. And the people who agreed with the big words equals ableism argument kept digging their heels in further and further, claiming that they were defending people with disabilities. And this is when I got mad. There are so many people who love to make arguments on behalf of disabled people. They claim they're just helping and that they're being a good ally. But what they really end up doing is infantilizing the groups they claim to be helping. They functionally reduce the identity of people to their disabilities and then claim to know what the limits of those disabilities are. They're essentially saying, I know you can't do that for yourself. I'll speak for you instead. This protection against ableism that they claim to be providing ends up being incredibly ableist instead. And this isn't to say that we shouldn't stand up for groups of marginalized people, but we don't get to look at someone and tell the world what they can or can't do. Big words aren't ableist against people with reading disabilities, in the same way that audiobooks are not ableist against people who are deaf. A writer named Amy over at Ouroboros Press made a video talking about this point exactly. Amy is physically disabled, and she made the argument that saying big words are ableist is like saying the existence of treadmills are ableist. She also brought up literacy rates in America and how we're on track to enter a world that looks like 1984, especially if complex thoughts and complex writing go away.
The ultimate result was that people in Orwell's world were unable to have complex thoughts and thus revolutionary thoughts. Language is the structure with which we construct thoughts, and if we don't have complex language, if we no longer understand complex language, we will no longer be able to have those complex thoughts, and we'll be happy to just consume slop.
And she's right. Assuming that people with disabilities can't understand big words or complex language strips them of the agency of their own thoughts. Books and words being challenging isn't a sign that authors should dumb down their writing. This argument also feels like it just conveniently forgets that there are so many books at different reading levels. If a book is too hard for someone, they have plenty of options to find one that is at their level. And beyond that, there are countless tools that are designed to help people understand complex phrases or words they don't know, not to mention the existence of dictionaries. I feel very passionately about this. I have friends and family who have disabilities that make it harder for them to read. I have seen the struggle and embarrassment that they've had to suffer through. It's not easy. And the thought of anybody making fun of them or talking down to them because they can't read or they struggle to makes me so viscerally angry I have trouble talking about it. Their disability does not make them incapable. It just means they need a little extra time. Our responsibility is not to take the struggle away. It's to give them the space and time and resources that they need in order to work through it on their own terms. And they certainly don't need to be pandered to. Refusing to pander to somebody is not ableism. It's treating them as an equal who has their own capability and agency. When we try to preemptively put bumpers on the world for other people in the thought of protecting them, we end up taking away that agency. And assuming that someone with disabilities can't speak up for themselves is the same kind of infantilizing attitude that authoritarian governments have about their citizens. The people don't know what's best. We know what's best for them. And look, I know that sounds extreme, but the language we use is directly connected to the thoughts that we construct, which leads me to my next issue. I think part of why I feel so strongly about this topic is that I'm from South Carolina, and the idea of controlling how and what people read are directly connected to the systems that were used in the American South to keep Black Americans enslaved. Throughout history, enslavers have used religion as a method to justify their actions, and the era of the American slave trade was no different. Physical force was the biggest method to keep enslaved people under harsh control, but the most manipulative strategy was using the Bible as a means to explain why the institution of slavery was not only right, but necessary. Plantation pastors and missionaries would preach stories from the Bible that reinforced the idea that people need to keep their place in society, and they would urge slaves to be loyal and to obey their masters. Now, I went to Catholic school for most of my childhood, so I'm familiar with the Bible and the stories that come from it. Probably one of the most well-known stories from the Old Testament is the story of Exodus. It details the enslavement of the Jews in Egypt and their subsequent liberation by Moses. And it was most popularized in the animated musical adaptation called The Prince of Egypt, which is an absolute banger of a movie. But the story of Exodus is literally about an enslaved people breaking away from their enslavers. And this is the second book in the Bible. So how on earth were slave-holding plantation owners using the Bible as a means to justify slavery when the book they're preaching from basically opens with slaves breaking free from their enslavers? Because they didn't let slaves learn how to read or write. Illiteracy was vital to maintaining control. Slaveholders were worried that if they taught slaves how to read or write, that this would foster a sense of rebellion and that they would start to question authority. If they controlled the narrative, they never had to worry about the people they enslaved fighting back. And this was proven true by one of the most fascinating men of this era, Nat Turner. Nat Turner was born into slavery in Virginia in 1800, but unlike most enslaved people at the time, he was taught to read and write. And with these skills, he eventually became a preacher for the other people on the plantation. And he told them that he was chosen by God to lead them out of bondage, just like Moses. He organized the other enslaved people and tried to start a rebellion. And Nat Turner's rebellion became the deadliest revolt in U.S. history. And while it was unsuccessful, it sent a shockwave of fear through white slaveholders. And it led to a series of oppressive laws being passed. And the thing that slaveholders and lawmakers cited as the reason for the revolt was Nat Turner's intelligence. They knew that his ability to read and write allowed him to organize and start his rebellion. And because of this, several states passed laws making it outright illegal to teach Black people how to read or write. Controlling people's literacy meant they could control the people. I don't think that it's a coincidence that after the Civil War ended, literacy amongst Black Americans went from 20% to 70%. In this way, literacy is directly related to freedom. And this is my ethical problem with telling writers how to write. And look, I know it seems like a stretch to compare a small, dumb post with having the rights of literacy literally revoked from us. It sounds like that's something that only happened in the undereducated past, but it isn't. Ta-Nehisi Coates is an author that I was recently introduced to and am really coming to admire. A lot of his writing focuses on the Black American experience, and he is a fabulous essayist. In an article that he wrote for The Atlantic called The Case for Reparations, Ta-Nehisi Coates writes about a man named Clyde Ross and about how his family had their land taken by the government through phony charges and how they couldn't contest because their father could not read. Everything was taken from them, and they were essentially reduced to being sharecroppers. That happened less than 100 years ago. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, but that kind of thing wouldn't happen today. In Coates' most recent book, The Message, he talks about how one of his other books was causing a stir at a local school board. In the fall of 2022, an advanced placement English teacher was using Coates' book as an example on how to write a persuasive essay. Now, the book, Between the World and Me, is written as a letter to Coates' teenage son, and it's about his perception on the realities of being Black in America. With a subject like that, naturally, there are going to be some ideas that aren't super comfortable to approach. So the school in question talked about banning the book outright because parents claimed that it allegedly made their children feel ashamed of being white. Coates goes on to say that the school board was using arguments that were similar to Executive Order 13950. This executive order was supposed to restrict training or education that contained topics that were said to be, quote, divisive, such as saying America's history is fundamentally racist, or anything else that would make them feel guilt or discomfort about their race. And even though this executive order had been overturned and was no longer active, the school board was using it as a skeleton for the arguments for banning this book. People with power hide behind language to manipulate systems for their own ends. When talking about this whole book banning incident, Coates writes, "Oppressive power is preserved in the smoke and fog, and sometimes it is smuggled in the unexamined shadows of the language of the oppressed themselves." And guess where this school was? South Carolina. My home state. I probably don't have to tell you that the United States is going through a literacy crisis. More than half of the adults in the US read below a 6th grade level. State governments and school boards across the country are scrambling to try and figure out how to help students learn how to read and write more effectively. But test scores are still bleak in a lot of places. And the South, where I'm from, is an area that's been deeply affected by this trend. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the states with the lowest reading scores are also states that suffer from the highest rates of poverty. Literacy and class disparity go hand in hand, but that doesn't mean everything is hopeless. In 2013, Mississippi ranked 49th in literacy across the entire United States. It also happens to be one of the poorest states in the US, so resources are incredibly limited. They decided that instead of increasing resources, they would change methodology. So Mississippi introduced this idea of literacy-based promotion, and the concept is pretty simple. Students did. They decided that instead of increasing resources, they would change methodology. So Mississippi introduced this idea of literacy-based promotion. And the concept is pretty simple. Students are given a reading test in the 3rd grade. If they don't pass, they don't move on to the 4th grade. Now, they don't just make these students repeat 3rd grade and try again. They put them with a teacher who has expertise in helping struggling readers. And do you know what happened? It worked. Mississippi went from being last in the country to being the #1 state in reading and mathematics. Their change has been such a massive turnaround that it's been dubbed the Mississippi Miracle. And now other schools around the country are trying to copy what they're doing. They didn't give up on students and say, try again. And they didn't make things easier for them. They gave them the resources and the opportunities to get better. Look, I know I've gone on way too long defending an argument against a Threads post that was less than 20 words, but it's because this stuff really hits home for me. I have someone in my family who really struggled to learn how to read. He has dyslexia, and I remember watching his confidence dry up because reading just did not come easily for him. I tried to do what I could. I would spend time reading to him at night, usually things like The Hobbit or Chronicles of Narnia, bedtime stories. And I would take him to bookstores and libraries and let him pick out books that he wanted to throw into our rotation. And he loved the stories. He just found the sheer amount of words to be completely overwhelming. Then, on one of our trips to the bookstore, he ended up taking an interest in the manga section. I explained to him how you have to read them backwards, from right to left. And for whatever reason, he thought that was really cool. He asked me questions about manga, ones that I've read, ones that I liked, and I ended up getting him the first issues of Naruto and Full Metal Alchemist, 2 series that I also read when I was his age. He needed help at the start to understand the process of reading these books, but once he got it, he started devouring these books. And on his next report card, the teacher sent home a note that said he was the most improved for reading and writing. He reads all the time now. And the books he's reading didn't suddenly get easier. Anyone who's read The Full Metal Alchemist knows that those books get wild. He just found something that works for him. And more importantly, that lights that little fire inside. He didn't need easier words. He needed something that interested him enough to push past the discomfort of learning. Reading and comprehension are muscles, and we have to work them out if we want them to get stronger. I read every single day. Reading is one of my favorite ways that I get to spend time. And I feel so fortunate that I got to grow up watching shows like Between the Lions, and that I had parents that encouraged me to read, because not everybody gets that. One creator I admire is Oliver James. He was 34 when he started posting videos of himself learning how to read. They're hard for me to watch because they end up showing moments of deep vulnerability and frustration, but he managed to do it. He owned his struggle, and he didn't let it stop him. Big words be damned. Writers shouldn't be told to use smaller words, because without big words, we wouldn't be able to test our limits and learn new things as readers. And if we're going to have an effect on the literacy crisis, we need to be strong enough to help others who need it. And we can't get stronger if things only get easier. Reading is one of the greatest gifts that someone can be given, and we need to lead by example. Life is full of big words, and we need to learn how to use them, because if we don't, they can be used against us. And you can't write your own story if someone else is in charge of the words. Thank you so much for watching. This video ended up being a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know I had this much to say about a tweet, basically. I want to give a big shout out to our coffee members whose names will be appearing on the screen. Thank you so much to our coffee members. We love you guys so much. If you want, there's a link on screen or a link in our description that'll take you to our coffee page. And over there, we post small little sit and sip videos to our members, whom we love. Thank you so much to our coffee members. Your support means the world to us, and it's the only reason we can make videos like this. If you like videos like this, consider subscribing. We post videos like this every single Wednesday. Other than that, I think that's everything, and we'll see you next week.
How to make these god rays in 60 seconds. Let's begin. Go to the hexagon tab and select this radial glow. Place down 4 of them and rotate each one so they're facing different directions. Stretch them upwards and adjust the rotation and position until they look more natural. Now select the rays, give them any color you'd like and enable blending. Next, add a glow object and stretch it over the rays. Then, add this thin glow object, stretch it upwards and rotate it to match the god rays. Place 2 or 3 of them to soften the edges. Select half of the rays and give them a new group ID. Place a move trigger and set the movement slightly to the left. Now place a particle trigger and press Edit Special. In the Motion tab, copy the settings on screen. In the Visual tab, set the start size to 50 and the variation to 20. In the Extra tab, set both the fade in and fade out to 1, then enable these 2 checkboxes. Now go to the Texture tab and assign a glow texture. Exit the trigger, give it the same blending color and stretch it to match the god rays. Finally, select everything and connect it to a link visible trigger to prevent flickering. How to make these god rays in
to Slop Live. Today's Slopic is about Twitter, specifically Grok, Twitter's AI, which has been getting increasingly unhinged lately. Twitter added a function where if a tweet happens to show up on your timeline in another language, it would be auto-translated by Grok. And well, Grok was making quite a few questionable mistakes. These did end up getting fixed weeks later, but we have this one saying Chinmoa Character Customization Collection. But Grok, for some reason, was translating it to this. Not too sure that's what they said. Another very innocent tweet from a Korean saying, I made Sorkin throw in Tomodachi Life, showing that they'd recreated 2 Pokemon in a Nintendo game. Well, Grok, for some reason, translated this as I made a shop video with my stepmom. I don't even know how it got there or why it keeps bringing up stepmoms. And just this week, Grok itself went on another rampage. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up getting lobotomized again. Grok started entertaining users more questionable requests. One person asking Grok to fart, and it came up with this one. Another one going viral of someone tweeting at Grok.
Now, before this video starts, I want to say that this is strictly my personal opinion, so just keep that in mind. And also, for those of you who know me, this video is going to be a little different from my usual satire content style, and I intend for it to be 100% serious. So yeah, let's get into it. Artemis 13 is an upcoming extreme demon that is currently being verified by Zoink, and it's projected to be a top 3 demon. But knowing this man's history with his super duper credible opinions on the difficulty of his verifications, it's safe to say that this is probably our next upcoming top 1. And this level is, in my opinion, the worst top 1 this game has ever seen. Now, I've been in and out of the community for around 10 years at this point, so I've seen my fair share of top 1s. We've had a lot of top 1s that are extremely cool looking and memorable because of things like the level's decoration and theming, or even just the hype surrounding the verification. It's really cool to look back and see the progression of the community and just how far the game has come in terms of levels, both in difficulty and decoration. But after returning to the community recently, it feels like top levels are increasingly becoming worse and worse, or, for lack of a better term, soulless. But throughout all this time, I can say that Artemis 13 is the worst top 1 I've ever seen. And it's not particularly close either, so let me explain why. When looking at a level, there are 2 main things to consider: decoration and gameplay. And to put it simply, this level just has zero aura in both departments. In regards to gameplay, I mean, I'm no top player, so I can't really say so much about the enjoyability of actually playing the level, but I imagine the level is absolutely miserable to play just based on watching it. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing for a top 1, since I imagine most of the past and upcoming top 1s usually feel pretty terrible to play, just due to the nature of them being impossibly difficult. However, I do want to comment on the gameplay from a viewership standpoint. In my opinion, this level just looks like flow slop and has no uniqueness at all. There are hardly any notable points in the level that are memorable to me. The only exception I can make is the slow ship part in the pre-drop, but aside from that, the rest of the level kinda just blends together in terms of gameplay. Compare this to other top 1s that have good and memorable gameplay. Like, for example, Tidal Wave is very memorable for its wave sections, and also happens to be kind of enjoyable from what I've heard. Another example is the upcoming top 1 Grief, which, in my opinion, has a lot of very memorable and unique gameplay parts, such as the teleporting wave spam. In contrast, Artemis 13 kinda just blends together in a mush of gameplay that has nothing new to offer. You could show me a screenshot of any part of the level, and it would be pretty hard to tell what part of the level it's at. It's just overall boring. But that's okay. Gameplay is only half of a level's identity. Surely, it can be redeemed by its decoration. Right? Wrong! This level has no soul whatsoever when it comes to its decoration. I kid you not, that when I watched this level for the first time, I genuinely felt nothing. It's just unremarkable in every aspect. The level is like a mashup of past levels that clearly it takes inspiration from, like Astronaut 13 and Acheron. Now, I don't want to completely shit on the decoration, as it's not necessarily a bad looking level, but it just lacks any form of identity or uniqueness, which is something I think is integral for a level to be remembered as good. The only things I can give credit to is these little flashing star effects throughout the whole level, and this squiggle line effect at this part right here. But other than that, it just looks like it's trying to be a weird mix of the levels it takes inspiration from. And there's no standout part either, it all looks the same throughout the whole entire level. This level makes top 1s like Thinking Space 2 look amazing by contrast. And I'm a Thinking Space 2 hater. Levels really benefit a lot from having a cool theme, but this one just misses the mark entirely with its theming. Another thing I want to discuss is the hype surrounding the level. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like there's no hype around this level at all. It just kind of spawned and came out of nowhere, and already has pretty good progress on it. There was no grand journey, no teasers or hype around the building of the level. It just appeared. And if this gets verified and is the new top 1, I think it'll be the most forgettable top 1 this game has ever seen. Like, its only redeeming quality is that it's top 1 and being verified by Zoink. If this level was not top 1, no one would care about it at all. And this is a problem that kind of deserves its own video, but making something hard for just the sake of it being remembered sucks, and is a trend that I don't like. There are plenty of levels that seem to just appear on the demon list that suffer the same problem. And still, nobody really knows about these levels since they're not top 1. Anyways, that's the end of my rant. In short, Artemis 13 sucks and I hate it.
First of all, can we talk about how close the next update is? 2.209, I think, is literally right around the corner because, first of all, there's a gauntlet contest that was released on April 6th. And yeah, if you go to the end of it, you can see the deadline. It says August 2nd, and that's been about a week or more so ago. So when is the update coming out if the deadline has already been met? And this is, I think, one of the first times that the gauntlet contest does not get delayed, the results of it. So that's pretty cool. So let me just compare the previous updates and see how long it took the other ones until RobTop finished the update, so that then we can have a very reasonable prediction on when it may come out. But one thing I can say for sure is I've watched a lot of duality gauntlet contests, and oh my god, they are absolutely insane. I would not be surprised at all if RobTop like adds a third one, because normally it was just one gauntlet and then suddenly it was brought up to 2 because the contests, the levels that were submitted, the entries were so good, and RobTop didn't want to make their levels to go to nothing, so he added a second gauntlet, and now we have 2 gauntlets, and there are just way too many really excellent levels, so we might see a third one. Maybe. This is just a prediction. But I have a very, very huge project in mind where you guys can participate as well, so that you can improve your editing skills at Geometry Dash. It's all gonna be very nice, so let me go ahead straight to it. I'm planning to do a creator contest for the first time ever. I'm doing a creator contest so that I can see what you guys have in store for me. So what that means is you're going to be building a very small thing. Now this is not going to be a full level. It's just going to be a tiny thing. There's going to be a theme that I'm going to give you, and you're going to have to go off of that. For example, it could be a lightning, an explosion, a water, you know, you can like do the shading on it, and then you can do the actual effect with a particle and whatnot. And basically people submit all of their explosions, and then we can rate them and see who won that contest as well. Like a freezing one, you can get like a cube or something, and then you can freeze it up, see how realistic and clean it looks like. A fire attack, you know, or a nuke dropping and then bang, how cool is that? See how many different people will come up with different things. And a torch, like I like to just see simple things. So this is like something that would take like a week to make at max. This is like way too stretched. So this is my plan here. So every single week I'm going to be revealing a theme. So for example, I say, okay, next week is the theme for, or it's your job to create a lightning strike effect, and you go ahead, you add the cloud, and you add your entire effect using these guys or whatever. There's no limitations. You can use any object you want, any mods, anything, pretty much anything. And just the only thing that I want is the level ID, and for this whole level to be playable inside Geometry Dash. Okay, you can't like use some external Premiere Pro editing on top of it. That will not count. And you guys are gonna have 1 week to create that level, and then you guys submit it through a form that I'm gonna have in this video's description. You go there, you add the level ID. I also want you guys to take a video of that, so you record a video, and then you have to tag me in the description as well. This is very important. And yeah, then we can, after the whole week is done, we can go to the ranking, which will happen live. I'm gonna take a look at you guys' entries. Every single explosion, for example, that you guys made, we can rate them from 0 to 10, and then we have the last top 3 winners, which are going to be chosen by perhaps the chat on my main channel called X Creator Goal. But yeah, a lot of people in the chat are going to be able to vote as well, and then we just repeat the whole thing. You guys next week get another theme, and so on. Now this is not going to be the order, but I can already tell you guys that the theme is to make a lightning effect. Okay, so this is going to be the very first one. So your whole job is just to go ahead and come up with the craziest effects on how to make a clean looking lightning. I don't mind if you change the background color to kind of make that impact really clean. Particles in here, you guys know the drill. I want to see your guys' best creativity, and the deadline for that is going to be on the 16th of August. So 16/8/2026. So that's going to be the very first one, and this is live. You can already go ahead and create that, and once you're done, you can submit it through the form in the description, and I can take a look at it on the 16/8/2026. So a bunch of rules, so it's just like a couple of them. Thing is, we're going to have one cloud, at least one of them, and you can create a cloud using different things. Like I see a lot of people use, for example, I think this one, they like spam it and whatnot, and then that's cool, that's already a cloud, and then we can make it like kind of get hit with another cloud, and then this one appears with a very smooth and clean looking thing. But one thing that's very important is that you go to one of them and you make the camera static onto these guys. So you go ahead, do this. It's got to be a platformer as well, so that we can only focus on that specific thing, and you can have the spawn here, and then you can do spawn order if you want to, and then it basically just plays that effect that you want to have. So if there's any updates like the ranking, the whatever, it's going to happen on my main channel. But if there's anything extra, I'm going to upload it on my third channel. For example, the next week's theme reveal or whatever, any other. If there's anything else, I'm probably going to make a post on this channel on the posts tab. Or if there's a video, then it's going to be on my third channel called Why Creator Go. So that is the very cool thing that I want to do alongside 2.209, because I have a feeling 2.209 is going to have one thing, but I can't say anything about it. So I think that's going to be very fire for everybody. So you guys can already get to create, but now let's actually take a look at the analysis of when Geometry updates came out, so that we can predict when is 2.209 coming out. So here I have all Geometry updates that came out after 2.2 that had a gauntlet contest. So 2.206 came out with the NCS gauntlet contest, the NCS 1 and NCS 2. It was announced on June 1st, 2024. That's been ages ago. The results videos came out on the 5th, and oh my goodness. And that's exactly when the gauntlets went live. And yeah, I remember this one. It was announced and we got the update before the results came out. So we had the NCS gauntlets in the files already. This is not the case for 2.209. We do not have the files for the duality gauntlet, which is very cool. Next up, we have 2.07, which came out with the space gauntlet contest. Space and Cosmos were the two gauntlets, and it was announced on the 24th of November 2024, and the results video came out. Wow, that is a lot. That's like 6 months or something. And we can see here that that was the same thing, where the update basically released before the gauntlet contest was even done, which is also not the case for 2.209 from what it looks like. Let's see 2.208, the random gauntlet contest, the random and the chance gauntlet. It was announced on the 18th of July 2025, and the video results came out on December 23rd 2025. And yeah, so here we can see how it kind of took a bit of time, because December to January 19th, that's like almost 30 days. So that's interesting. This one, I believe we also did not have the files for them. So we are basically in the exact same scenario as 2.208. We do not have the files for the gauntlet or the duality one. So the update was released on the 19th of January 2026. And that's when the gauntlets went live as well. And I think that's exactly how it's going to be for 2.209. There hasn't been any infos on any delays so far, and we're almost a week in. So I think it's looking really good. But I think from what I know is that it takes them a long time to actually produce the video for the results, because it's always going to have like the top tier levels recorded with clean quality, and also the full video is going to be edited, and that sometimes take a lot of time. And also one thing is that ranking those levels is going to be an absolute disaster. It's going to be impossible. How do you rank the top almost best levels in the game? It's going to be really hard. So many entries are so cool, it's insane. It's going to be a very hard job. But yeah, so my prediction here, according to these stats, so it basically took them around 30 days, I'd say, if the gauntlet contest was announced a couple of months ago and the deadline was a week ago. I'd say we're gonna wait probably 2 to 3 more weeks maximum, and then we're gonna have the update. I think until 3 weeks we're definitely gonna have the update. Let's not say definitely, let's just hope for that, because we don't know, something maybe go wrong. So that is my prediction, and until then, we're gonna have a couple of these creator contests that you guys can participate in, and I'm really looking forward to this because a lot of people have asked me to do a creator contest because I think I have like 100 different tutorial videos, actually maybe a little bit more. So we have the platformer creation show with 64 episodes. Some of these are really long. We have the platformer level creation, 23 videos, and the editor course, 24 videos. And there's also a 2.2 tutorial with I need to make a tutorial now, I ain't gonna lie. After seeing these numbers, I gotta upload a next tutorial, bro. But subscribe. Gonna lie. After seeing these numbers, I gotta upload a next tutorial, bro. But subscribe. Also, my third channel. Let me just show you that. Dang, this is my third channel right here. It's kind of dead, I ain't gonna lie. I haven't uploaded in like 8 months, as you can see. And yeah, so really excited. Make sure to make your level, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Hey guys! Hey guys!
Today I'm starting things. Welcome back to Hermitcraft Season 11. Today I'm starting things off in the shopping district, admiring all of the beautiful builds that we have in here. And most importantly, I'm focusing on the bank, which is a beautiful build created by this beautiful man. Now, the reason that I find the bank so interesting is because although it does have a pretty big exterior, the interior is absolutely massive. This thing is huge and it goes deep into the mountainside. It's like a really excellent use of space. It is probably deep into the mountainside. It's like a really excellent use of space. It is probably one of the best interior and exterior combinations I've seen, because this build right here is big enough that it fools you into thinking that what's inside actually fits inside. The illusion of this being a viable structure is maintained, and that is something that I want to achieve with my art gallery. Let's take a look at the interior. This is one of the designs that I built in the previous Hermitcraft episode, and I'm so glad that we aren't going with that. The actual art gallery is over here, and as you can see, it's a bit of an awkward shape. Like, this is an interior first build, as is evident, and to build an exterior that actually houses this is going to be challenging, which is why I think we go for what Scar did, which is a decently big exterior that hides the fact that there is a significantly larger interior sitting inside a mountain. By the way, I just want to say an enormous thank you for the response to the previous 2 Hermitcraft episodes. It's been absolutely wonderful to hear how much you're all enjoying this project. I also can't wait to share the end result with all of the hermits, and I really want to get them involved with some of the photography as well. It's going to be incredibly fun. But for now, I have got a ridiculous quantity of resource gathering to do. It's time to start breaking blocks. And what followed was a 6-hour resource gathering mission that I thought would be best to do in the form of a time lapse. You see, the interesting thing about this build is that it is using a bunch of blocks that I have not really used in the block palette of my base in the slightest. Like, if you think about all the blocks that I'm using currently, it's all the coppers, it's things like tuff, we've got bricks, we've got all sorts of ruinous stuff, things like mud bricks and everything like that, which is very, very different from the more grand blocks that I'm using on the interior of the art gallery. I'm going to be honest, I was actually quite surprised by how many materials I needed. I wasn't planning on exporting a material list, but then I thought I'd quickly double check that I was in the right ballpark, and I was not in the right ballpark. I think the issue is I'm so used to building exteriors, which are often just big boxes. You're only thinking about the external dimensions. Obviously, with an interior, when you're looking at it from the outside like it's an exterior, I kind of did that maths without really thinking about all the internal walls and all the other bits and pieces happening on the inside. Which is really obvious now that I've said it aloud. Maybe that wasn't quite the epiphany that I thought it was. Anyway, back to the Hermitcraft server. As far as locations go, I think this looks pretty perfect. Like, it kind of mirrors what the bank is doing over here. The bank being the #1 inspiration for the build. So I think somewhere inside of here should be good. Is there actually anything in here? I mean, I haven't really thought to check this. Okay, well, it's passed the first test of putting a 1x2 strip about 10 blocks deep in. Yeah, I'm satisfied it's passed that test. You know what? I'm going to be incredibly thorough. I'm going to be really, really thorough with this one. I'm going to do another 1x2 strip going in over here. And look at that. Would you look at that? It appears to be passing. I can't test much further than this because I don't have any torches with me, but I think... Yeah, I think we can safely say there's absolutely no chance of anything existing inside of this area. I can't at all see how that assumption is going to hurt me. Oh, by the way, I should probably show you all of the resources that I gathered during my 6-hour resource gathering mission. This is everything, which actually, now that I'm looking at it, feels like an embarrassingly small quantity. Sometimes I think my arms swing slower than everybody else's, to be fair. I don't know why I've got an efficiency 4 pickaxe. Problem is, every time I hang out with the C team, I lose all of my stuff, and I hang out with them quite a bit. I realized when I went to repair my Elytra, I don't even have a sword at the minute. Like, what's happened to me? I've accidentally gone full peace, love, and plants mode, but not through some moral code, but just through poverty. These aren't even my Elytra. I'm going to be honest, I've also completely lost my beacon. So, for the time being, I'm just going to take this one here. I mean, it's like within the area of my base. I'm currently playing at 7 in the morning. I don't think Exhuma's going to be online for a little bit. I think I can get away with this one. But actually, on that note, one thing I would absolutely love to be added into Minecraft is the ability to make beacon beams invisible, potentially using tinted glass. Like, imagine if we're going to have the power of beacons without the beams going right the way up into the sky. I know we kind of accept them as a part of Minecraft, but imagine how much cooler my base would look if this extremely bright and very dominant line wasn't shooting off into infinity. When you actually notice it, it completely throws off the composition of the base. Well, this was a bit of an ordeal, but we're there. 1, haste, 2, beacon. Okay, I need to get myself an efficiency 5 pickaxe. My goodness. Let's go. This is how deep our area goes, and it goes across to somewhere like over there, just past the tree. I think it's time for a dig lapse. That is a word that I'm fairly certain I never want to say again, but it is apt, and I'm very glad that I decided to do that because it's quite an impressive hole that I'm creating here. I didn't really notice that as I was planning things out, but this is a decent chunk of the mountain. In the end, it took around about 3.5 hours. I kept pausing the time lapse so that I could go and mend my gear at the ender, and then kept forgetting to unpause the time-lapse recording, which means occasionally there are jumps in progress. I don't know. I'm still new to this YouTube thing. You know, I've only been doing it for like 15 years now. But I gotta say, it has been a little while since I have done just a true monotonous dig. And it's fun. It's so fun just sitting back in your chair and doing something that requires very little concentration. And I am proud to admit that not a single pickaxe broke in the process, which may be a first for me. Now, during the recording of this time-lapse, DocM popped over with a lightsaber and started blasting me with French, which was a truly unique experience. What on earth?
Salut, ça va? Qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Ça va bien? À toi?
Ah, tu préparais une grande excavation,
Yeah.
je pense.
I was trying to think what the French word for hole would be, and yeah, you did the same thing that I do, which is go for like a really long word that ends in Asian. One day I'll be confident enough to speak French in a video, but today is not that day. I just want to say an enormous thank you to Corrales for building what is effectively my own personal bedroom over by the store here. This place, by the way, just like everything that Corrales is doing this season, is truly gorgeous. I feel sorry for this guy. This also makes me giggle every single time. I mean, it's the fact that when I sleep in this bed, I wake up and I'm looking straight at this. It's amazing. So all I need to do is pop back into the creative mode testing world, take a look at all of the different floors, lay out the floors so I kind of have a map to build from, and then we can kind of build this gallery from the ground up. Oh, I feel like it's worth mentioning, I actually decided to collect all of the stone as I was digging out the hole. Oh my goodness, and my inventory is full as well. The cool thing about this is now in this version of Minecraft, we can use the stone cutter to convert stone into cobblestone, which makes it incredibly useful for things like pistons and basically anything that requires crafting. Honestly, and I said it when it was introduced, it's one of my favorite changes in recent Minecraft history. So now, let's get the ball rolling. I'm just going to start placing in blocks. This should give us a rough idea. Here's the thing, this is probably going to have texture added to it. I think I'm going to swap some of the planks out for stripped logs. But for the time being, again, I just want to lay this out. I think in the original, I also had dark oak borders where the edges are, and I actually don't know how to feel about those. I always find the transition between spruce wood and dark oak a little bit strange. I'm trying my best to rack my brain over what could be a good transition block. Honestly, I can't really think of anything. I mean, maybe some form of stripped log would be good. Maybe mushrooms, like the brown mushrooms. That could also I mean, maybe some form of strip log would be good. Maybe mushrooms, like the brown mushrooms. That could also work. I'm sure the building gradient knowers will tell me down in the comment section. That is 4 stacks of planks gone. So this is the footprint for the first big room, the atmosphere room with the 3 paintings on either rooms. That could also work. I'm sure the building gradient knowers will tell me down in the comment section. That is 4 stacks of planks gone. So this is the footprint for the first big room, the atmosphere room with the 3 paintings on either side. From there, we're going to be popping through into the temple room, which is where Cleo's, Hypno's, and Wells's paintings are. I have the whole floor plan sort of memorized in my brain. Good morning, Corrales. This is the temple room all laid out. And actually, now that we're building it, I'm starting to worry that I haven't actually cleared out enough space. Like, why does this hole now feel small? The Moody room, which involves a bunch of scars builds, is pretty cool because it involves a checkerboard pattern on the floor. What did I actually used to build with before we had bone blocks and mushroom blocks? Like, seriously? Nice. Okay, Scars room complete. Now it is time for the details room, which is like the slalom that runs across the back. Good evening, Corrales. Slalom's completed. Now it's time for the room of whimsy, which, if I remember correctly, had a bit of a fancy pattern in the floor, but for the time being, I'm just going to do the spruce planks. I'm also starting to realize I could have been much more efficient with the way that I dug this area out. Oh well, now it is time to move on to the grand room. This is the one that houses a bunch of the different exhibits and has a sort of slight snaking pattern running into the golem room, and the shape of the build is now really starting to take shape. You can kind of imagine this thing now. I've also left myself plenty of space down this side here for any future builds that I want to work on. Maybe there could be expansions, maybe future exhibits, maybe even exhibits by other hermits. Like, there could be a guest exhibit arm over here, and there could also be a guest exhibit arm over here as well, because there's no paintings on this wall. There's no paintings on this wall, and there's no paintings on that wall. And I know some of the other hermits have been taking up a little bit of Minecraft photography as well, so that could work out perfectly. Why does this sort of look a bit like Grian? The golem room is done. That is the final room that I have. A bit like Grian. The golem room is done. That is the final room that I have in the floor plan. The entrance and also Corrales' room are not done, and that is because I never planned those out. The entrance is excusable. Corrales' one, though, that's pretty ridiculous given the entire gallery was filled with pictures by Corrales. Like, the entrance and also Corrales' room are not done, and that is because I never planned those out. The entrance is excusable. Corrales' one, though, that's pretty ridiculous given the entire gallery was filled with pictures by Corrales. Like, the whole gallery, when I was designing it, was just Corrales' gallery. So maybe that's why I forgot his room. So I think it's time for us to finish up that design process. So I now have an entrance walkway running into the gallery. This is the exit from the golem room. And then off to this side, we have got Corrales' room. And we get a full sort of reveal of the painting on the back wall. I thought I'd go with the purple terracotta because there's a lot of purple in this picture. This is the first time that I'm actually seeing the painting inside a proper room. Like, for every other room, I've had to estimate what I think the painting is going to look like inside it. Whereas this one, this is it. This is like the finished article, and I really, really like it. I also like all of the artifacts and things. I think this is a lovely one. It's a great entrance into the gallery. But on the topic of entrance into the gallery, I haven't worked that out yet. Here we are. We're back on the Hermitcraft server. You can see this is the golem room right here, and then Corrales' room is sort of going to be in this space. The hallway that goes between them kind of goes here. And as you can see, we kind of don't have that much space. I mean, I guess the hallway that goes between them kind of goes here. And as you can see, we kind of don't have that much space. I mean, I guess we kind of have space like here. Like, we could extend out and around into this area, and then this could be almost like the gift shop. I might unfortunately have to move this fire hydrant, but that's fine. As an official fireman, I have permission to do that. I have the outfit to prove it. Yeah, I think this works. And then I think out the front here, where there'll be a gap, it would actually be quite nice to have a little garden, maybe even like a little sculpture garden or something like that. I've come back to the art gallery creative mode world, and I have lived my dream. I have created a coffee shop, a snobby, mildly brutalist coffee shop. We've got beans for sale out the back here. This is the coffee machine. We've got the grinder. Part of me wonders if I should charge the hermits for coffee. I can make it so it's like 5 diamonds per coffee. Now over here is where the hermits can buy all of the paintings. They're going to be in all of the chests. And then this is the entrance to the gallery, and this is where you can walk through. I am really, really happy with how everything has come together here. I think this is going to fit really nicely on the Hermitcraft server. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to do the exterior for this thing, but that is a problem for future me. Yes. 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 Okay. This is the building mapped out. It is perfectly proportioned to this space. That was purely accidental, but it goes right the way up to that corner there. Fantastic. This spot is also begging for a garden, and I'm definitely going to do that. But for the time being, it's time to help a bad egg with some redstone. Look at that beautiful tab screen. What on earth is Grian doing?
Is he looking at my shop? Mumbo?
I'm looking at your name. I don't... Are you... Where are you? What are you doing?
Flush yourself down the toilet, mate.
Right, because that's the expected thing that I should have done.
Yeah. I mean, if you know, you know.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Hello.
wow. This is good. That is both counterintuitive and also I managed to get it right immediately, which means you've done a pretty good job there.
Thank you. Well, welcome to the Bad Egg.
This is cool. This is very fancy.
This is my prank shop.
You're selling pranks.
Yeah.
How does that... How... Right, okay, you're going to have to explain this one a little bit, mate, to be honest.
Well, it's more of a pitch system.
Right, okay.
So the default is 1,000 diamonds per prank, but I will give you a discount based on how much I want to do the prank.
So if I said, for example, like, in case someone's base in obsidian, and I could give you 1,000 diamonds and you would do it.
You could pay me 1,000 diamonds and I would probably do that, yeah.
And I would imagine that's an example of 1,000 diamond prank, right? Like, that is a
1,000 diamond prank right there.
Okay.
But if I didn't like your idea, I would reject it, I'd hit the button, and you would be ejected from the Bad Egg.
Okay. So there are some pranks that are so bad that...
And you...
Okay,
but if I didn't like your idea, I would reject it, I'd hit the button, and you would be ejected from the Bad Egg.
Okay, so there are some pranks that are so bad that even 1,000 diamonds isn't going to do it for you.
Yeah, but basically this is Shark Tank, dude. You have to pitch who you're pranking, why you're pranking, and what the prank is, roughly, or you can leave it up to me.
My gosh.
And then, and then I'll decide if Egg are going to prank, you know?
Okay, I'm trying to think of like what would be like the gold standard 1 diamond prank, like that, like, you know,
you'd have to turn up with the most ingenious idea of all time.
Yeah, for a 1 diamond prank.
Full discretion. At that point, I'm doing it for free.
Yeah, effectively. And I'm trying to think what that would be, but even, I mean, obviously, yeah, that, you know, if it was easy to come up with that idea, everyone would come up with them, right? Like, it's... You know, I'd have to...
I just don't want people turning up and asking me to just prank people for no reason and it's just rubbish.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I like this idea, though. Goal. This is arguably one of the coolest shops I've ever heard of. This is actually really, really cool. I mean, you've pitched me on it. Your pitching skills are good. Because I just came in through a toilet. Think about it. I just came in through a toilet and was very dismissive of your idea, and now you've pitched me on it, and I'm fully on board, and I think this might be the best shop in Hermitcraft history.
And now you want to prank someone.
I really do want to prank someone. Like, my mind is racing right now on how I could prank someone, where I'm going to source 1,000 diamonds from, because my idea is probably going to be quite bad.
It's a shame you've turned up when you did, because I'm working on the ejection system.
Okay, well, do you need a hand with the ejection? I mean, I'm more than happy to give you a hand on the ejection system if you need it, but I don't...
Dude.
Yeah?
Yes. Because I've got the redstone down.
Okay.
Except your speciality.
Right.
The trapdoor piston. I need this 2x3 to be like one of those flush trapdoor openings.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I've got everything else covered. I'll give you a free prank if you do this.
Oh gosh, I'm immediately in with a free prank. Okay, that's cool. 2x3 is like quite an annoying size. I mean, yeah.
I know, because I already consulted Etho and he went, "Oh, can it be 2x2?" And I was like, "No, Etho."
Yeah, 2x3 is frustrating, but like we can do it with. So how fast does it need to be?
You just can't sit still.
No, I know. I'm too shuffly. It's actually, yeah, it's a real problem. The thing, I haven't built a door.
You don't know how to do it, do you?
I haven't built a door in a long time. You don't know how to do it.
Etho taught me how to use target blocks.
Target blocks are good. Target blocks are really useful. There's like a few redstone components that are like slyly useful in like a weird way that nobody really expects. And target blocks is one of them. Let me think of the others. Like a jukebox is also useful in the same way that a target block is useful, but it can also give comparator outputs as well, which is kind of cool.
I'm slowly learning how to redstone.
I sometimes think about redstone. It's like I almost know for a fact, and this is not from any experience speaking to any of the Mojang teams or anything like that, but like there's no way they designed it to have as many like alternate use cases as it does. It just so happens that it's like redstone is like the perfect level of wonky that there's so much interesting stuff in it that makes it like super versatile. Like when you look at like a compact redstone contraption, and especially like even me now when I look at the super compact redstone contraptions and they're like full of entities and stuff like that, they look super weird. They look so strange.
The issue I have is that I still just try and like redstone wire everything.
Yeah.
Instead of using all the like convoluted methods of moving a signal. I'm gonna have to go and get some ice, and I'm gonna risk my life to get it because I'm gonna have to go to Doc's area.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I got away with breaking one of the ice there, so...
Oh gosh, wait, are we not meant to be doing that?
Well, I don't know where else you'd get ice on a server.
This is what I think. I think I've gradually just... I mean, like, did you just remove it from his tower or something? Like, what were you...
Admittedly, it was one of the trees. In my head, in my little brain, it was basically this. Mate, this is going to be so... I can't explain how funny this is, by the way. If this works... I mean, I know it works because I've built a prototype on my server.
Right.
But if I actually get someone with it, I'm going to be so happy.
I'm extremely excited for this. We have got it! Professional redstone engineer. How about that? Here we go. Let's join Grian's secret server. I'm not whitelisted.
So this is an old version of... this is like my testing server.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is why the trapdoor bit sucks, right? This is just my temp one.
Yeah.
So you stand here and please act like a normal human being. Just stand still.
My arms are in the air, Grian. My arms are in the air. I can't. You best believe I'm throwing shapes in the air, but thankfully it's not translating to my player.
Face me before you do it. All right, this is my desk. Okay, there, perfect. Stay still. Okay, because that's where I think people will stand.
Yeah.
When they're
normal
pitching.
people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you pitch me a really bad idea and I'm going to reject you.
Okay, I think we should clear out the entire end of all the obsidian, and then we should encase Scar's base in obsidian, like a big block. What? Wait, I'm 21,000 blocks. I'm still going up. Nice.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you did that so fast.
Well, it's literally 2 pieces of redstone, 2 repeaters, and a couple of blocks.
See, this is what I was trying to do. I knew I needed honey, and I knew I needed slime.
Yeah. No, you had it right. You had it right. Like, yeah, and you had the right idea. Because I would have done it. I would have done it in a much more annoying way. Like, I would have slid the door out from underneath, and I don't know why my brain jumped to doing that. I think it's because...
Oh my god, it's outrageously simple.
It is pretty simple. Yeah, this is one of the few times where it is really quite simple.
You said the thing.
So they're falling into like a 3x2 area. So then you need to try and get them down into like funnel them into well, I mean, it's
got limited range is the thing. So I'm hoping that it will give me enough push to get because that is probably going to be here.
Okay, yeah, I think if you're using like a slime block pusher or something like that, that should probably get you there. I can't quite remember the number of blocks that it normally pushes you.
It's not that. It's surprisingly not that many.
Low. Is there anything more?
So the other part of
surprisingly low. Is there anything more?
So the other part of the puzzle, right, is that this
needs
one
to open.
block. This needs to open.
Okay.
And stay open until they have been ejected. So it needs like a proper timer on it and stuff.
Yeah.
God, it might take you 10 instead of 5 seconds.
I mean, I can do that. I can do that now if you would like me to.
That would be amazing. These are literally the 2 things the missing pieces of the puzzle.
Okay, yeah, no, this is like...
Oh, dude, this is fun.
This is chill redstone, this stuff. All right, that should be the pistons laid out. There's our little trapdoor all done. Then I just need a pulse extender running into it, and I would imagine probably needs to be a decent length. I mean, it really does depend how he decides to power it, but this is probably okay. Right, Green, I think it's done.
There's no way you've done that in the time that I went to get ice.
Yeah, but it's just the same thing. It's the same thing as what we just did downstairs, but simpler and with just like a little pulse extender. But I don't know,
That'd still take me all day.
But do you want to see like some? I mean, I don't know how much you know about. If you want to see another block that has some cool, usefulness to it,
Dude,
a
I'm
bit
in my
like the target
redstone
block.
era.
Yeah, it's like you can use note blocks to power pistons in weird ways. You see?
What?
Because it.
Why does... Okay, so hold on. Let me just breathe. So, let me get this straight. This doesn't work,
No,
but this do work.
it does. Yes.
But why?
Well, in the same way that, yeah, this also works. But that's because redstone is really weird. I mean, so, oh gosh, I've accidentally opened a can of worms here that is kind of a bit complicated, but...
Oh, God. So what I didn't understand about redstone for so long
Yeah.
is that sometimes, like, it presents itself as this immense logical contraption,
Yeah.
but it's made up of illogical pieces.
Sort of, until you, like, work out what's going on here. So, like, okay, so if I remove this piece of redstone, right, and then I power this, but then update the piston, then it will extend, right? Okay, so, and then if I depower this and then update the piston again, it will retract. So all the note block is doing is immediately updating the piston, right? And like the same thing goes for anything up here as well. Like I can power this on and then update the piston and it will extend, and then I can turn it off. And like this piston, like we can remove all of this stuff and it can stay extended even though there's nothing powering it until I update it, and then it will retract. And like all you're doing is you're immediately updating pistons. So then that's where things like note blocks, and there's like a bunch of other blocks that you can use, like the copper bulbs are pretty good. Redstone lamps are okay, but they also add a little delay, which is actually useful. They delay on one edge. But it means that you can power pistons in slightly unusual ways. Which, by the way, all of this is the reason why if you have two pistons on top of one another, they can still power, because the piston immediately updates the other piston. So it's actually super useful. But if we didn't have that other piston, then nothing would happen.
But why this block don't work? What's the difference between a note block and a normal block?
Well,
it's redstone.
Because it's redstone and it's updating the block, right? So like as far as Minecraft is concerned, that note block is now being powered, and that sends a little update to the other blocks around it that says like, oh, this has been powered, and then the piston goes, oh my gosh, I'm meant to be extended, or I'm not meant to be extended. Like I'm being powered from somewhere I hadn't noticed, and then extends.
Mumbo, I'll be honest with you. I was actually listening really hard. Okay, so I need to take that signal. I mean, it's just I just did lines of redstone. I didn't do anything fancy.
Yeah. I mean that will definitely work.
That does it.
Yeah, as long as the person doesn't fall missing your pressure plate. That's the only thing.
Well, that's a problem with the whole system, to be honest.
Well, but it's a fixable problem if you want me to try and fix it.
How? Oh, what, by having two pressure plates?
You could go all out and have three pressure plates, mate.
If they're standing, it would need to be a double piston extender with the... It'd have to punch once, then punch twice.
Yeah, I mean, but a double piston extender is possible if you want. If I can do a bit of that.
I mean, I can leave you to this bit. If you want to make sure, because there's the one issue, right? If they land here,
yeah, it's game over.
There's just an awkward silence. I'm sure this has been done, but this is I've done this, you know?
Yeah, it hasn't been done by you. This is a completely unique experience for you. It doesn't matter how, like, if you went away today and you were like, you know what, I'm going to design a 3x3 door from scratch. Like, it doesn't matter that 3x3 doors have existed since before my YouTube channel. I would 100% watch you trying to work out how to make a 3x3 piston door. Like, I think this is, like, that'd be so interesting. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good on the thing trap. Let's see. Yeah, it definitely functions, and it's definitely pushed me over to the hole. So this is very good news.
All the way?
Just
Nice.
about. I'm squeaking in. Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'll I will start loading the machine.
I can't believe we've managed to do this.
Someone's going to space.
Yeah.
I'll go with you, dude.
Okay.
We'll both go up.
Okay. I'm nervous again. I always get nervous testing this sort of stuff.
Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Like, what's gonna happen? What's the worst that could happen? I
It is
can't
true.
actually hit the button from here. Hold on. It's actually fairly well hidden, which is kind of good.
Oh, there we go. What? He's miles away. Why is he so far away? This is taking forever. Hey, well, it's coming around to another day. Am I about to see land? Oh, I can see land. What? I went so far as well. I'm over by Gem. I'm over by Joel.
Oh, did we hit the ground at the same time?
Wait, no way. You were actually up in the sky as well.
Yeah, I was, dude. I was so high up in the sky.
Yeah.
I had a day. I played some Geometry Dash, did Wordle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a day. Geometry Dash, did Wordle.
Yeah. I can't believe, like, I was trying anything. Like, I tried flying straight downwards with my Elytra, and nothing.
Nothing. There's nothing you can do once you're up. There is actually something you can do, but no one's gonna do it.
Okay, and don't tell me because that does ruin the fun. Well, I wonder if we can. Well, like, there's tons of people online. I wonder if we can try and. Surely we must be able to try and want to pitch a prank at some point.
I'm sure someone's got someone that needs to be pranked.
So you're doing this with the egg crew, right? So I guess you'd
Yeah.
have to have your egg crew. I mean, I would stand in the
I
corner
haven't even
almost.
showed them the bad egg yet, dude. You turned up and I'd
you.